Dear students of MSc final year, you all are welcome in today's e-lecture or video lecture that is on NMR spectroscopy. Dear students, in the last class we have discussed about the general introduction as well as the basic principle of NMR spectroscopy, and we were discussing about the various aspects of NMR spectroscopy, in which we have talked about number of signals and position of signal, that is also called chemical shift, and various factors affecting the value of chemical shift. Today we are talked about the remaining aspects of NMR spectroscopy. You can see here on this slide various aspects of NMR spectrum. The first one is the number of signal, that depends on the type of equivalent protons. If a compound contains more than one type of the proton, then we get the same number of signal in NMR spectrum of that compound. So number of signal means equivalent and non-equivalent protons. The second one is the position of signal, that is called chemical shift. With reference to the TMS, tetramethylsilane, that is used as the reference material in NMR spectrum, proton NMR spectrum, we can locate the position of various signal of different type of the protons present in organic compounds. Next one is the intensity of signal, that is peak area and proton counting. So in last class we have talked about these 2 points. Now in this class we are going to talk about the intensity of signals and the splitting of signals. These are very important points related to the NMR spectroscopy. Okay, see here, you can see the number of signal. Briefly we are summarizing the last class, what we have discussed in the last class. For this compound, ethyl bromide, 2 types of the protons are there, CH2 protons and CH3 protons. So we get 2 signal in NMR spectrum of ethyl bromide. Here, these CH2 protons are different from CH3 protons. So this compound gives 2 NMR signal. Okay, now for this compound, you can see here, these CH3 protons are same. This CH3 and this CH3 protons are in same environment. So these 2 CH3 protons will give 1 signal, and both these 2 hydrogens give 1 signal. So we get 2 signals for this compound. For this compound, we get 2 NMR signal because this CH3 group and this CH3 group both are in same chemical environment. So these are responsible for only 1 signal, and these CH protons are of different from these 2 CH3 protons. So this CH proton will give different signal. So we get 2 NMR signal. Now you can see here, or in this compound, this CS2 group is different from this CS2 group because the chemical environment of this CS2 group is different from this CS2 group. Okay, the Cl group is in close proximity with this CS2 group, but in this CS2 group, the close proximity groups are CS2 and CS3. So the chemical environment of both the CS2 protons are different, and these two CS2 protons give 2 signals and 1 signal for CS3 protons. So we get 3 NMR signal for this compound. Now see here, this is bromo group and this proton is in close proximity with this bromo. So this proton is one type, this proton is different from this proton because here you can see there is a proton in the cis position of this proton, but for this proton in the cis position there is a bromo group. So both these protons are not equivalent, and these protons gives 2 NMR signal, 2 separate NMR signals. So we get 3 NMR signal for this compound. Okay. Now proton NMR spectra of enantiomers. Do you know enantiomers? The compounds having non-superimposable mirror image are called enantiomers. The NMR does not distinguish between enantiomers, means enantiomeric protons gives only 1 signal in NMR spectrum. Okay, enantiomeric protons gives only 1 NMR signal. For example, in ethyl bromide, you can see these 2 protons are enantiomeric protons. These 2 protons are called enantiomeric protons. Why? Because on replacement of each of hydrogen by Z, we get a set of enantiomers, because these 2 compounds are mirror image of each other but non-superimposable on each other. So these are called enantiomers. Okay. For these protons, we get only 1 signal. We can't distinguish between enantiomeric pairs using NMR spectroscopy. Now, for diastereomers or diastereotopic protons, we get separate signal for diastereotopic protons. You can see in this example, these 2 protons are called diastereotopic protons because on replacement of each of these hydrogen, we get diastereomers. So these 2 protons are called diastereotopic protons, and we get separate signal for each one protons. Okay, here on replacement of this hydrogen with Z group, we get this compound, and on replacement of this another proton with Z, we get this. And these 2 compounds are not mirror image and not superimposable to each other. Okay. So then these 2 compounds are called diastereomers, and we get 2 signals. Here, this is secondary butyl alcohol. In secondary butyl alcohol, these 2 protons are diastereotopic protons because on replacement of each of hydrogen by Z, we get 2 diastereomers. So we get 2 NMR signal. Okay. Then how many NMR signal will be there in secondary butyl alcohol? 1 for CS3 group, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We get 6 NMR signal in secondary butyl alcohol. Is it clear? Now position of signal, we have discussed in detail position of signal and what are the factors. that affect the position of NMR signal. We have discussed in detail, so we are not going to discuss now. Now we are talking about the intensity of signal. Intensity of signal, NMR signal, depends on the peak area, and the peak area under any NMR signal depends upon the number of the equivalent proton giving or rising that signal. Is it clear? The intensity of signal depends on the peak area under that signal, and the peak area under that signal depends upon the number of equivalent hydrogen or protons responsible for that signal. Okay, intensity of signal or the area under the NMR signal is directly proportional to the number of equivalent protons. When we increases the number of equivalent protons, then correspondingly we get the intense signal. Okay, is it clear? Here, one example has been given to clear the intensity of signal. Here, this is the NMR spectrum of para tertiary butyl toluene. This is toluene, and on the para position of this toluene, a tertiary butyl group is attached with this benzene ring. So this is called para tertiary butyl toluene. Here, these three CS3 groups are equivalent and gives only one signal because the chemical environment of all these three CS3 groups are same, so we get one signal. Okay, and here this CS3 group is different from these CS3 group because the chemical environment of it is something different from all these three groups, and the protons present on the benzene rings are in something different environment, so we get 1, 2, and 3 NMR signal. Okay, in the NMR spectrum of this compound. Now we see the intensity of each signal. Here, this signal is for this tertiary butyl group, and there are 9 protons. So this signal is due to the 9 protons of equivalent 3 CS3 groups. So you can see the intensity of this signal. This is more intense in comparison to the other two signals because there are 9 protons, equivalent protons responsible for this signal. Now here B, this CS3 group. This CS3 group, only 3 protons are there. So 1/3 the area under the signal is 1/3 for these B type of the protons in comparison to the A type of protons. Okay, and here are the 4 hydrogen atoms, and the area under the peak is according to the 4 hydrogen atoms. Now question rises, how we can calculate the peak area or intensity of the signal? It is very easy. Now in next slide we are going to talk about it. The ratio of the step heights, we can calculate the ratio of step heights A, B, C. A, B, C are the A type of the protons, B type of the protons, and C types of the protons. Okay. Here in the previous slide you can measure the step height of this signal, and that is 8.8, and the step height of the B type of the signal is 2.9, here 2.9, and the step height of C type of the signal, here C type of the protons is 3.8. Okay, then ratio is 8.8, 2.9, and 3.8. Now the smallest figure is this 2.9. We can divide each one by 2.9. We get 3:1:1.9. Now we can change these ratio in 9:3:4 in this way by multiplying appropriate figure. So we find A type of the protons are 9, B types of the protons are 3, and C types of the protons are 4. In other words, we can say the signal given by A type of protons is 9 ratio in comparison to the B type or C type, 9:3:4. The second method is alternatively, since molecular formula of the given compound is C11 at 16 is known, then number of protons are 16 and the total step height for all type of the protons is 8.8 plus 2.9 plus 3.8, we get 15.5, and by dividing 16 by 15.5 we get 1.03 per unit. Now the step height of each type of the protons is 8.8, 2.9 and 3.8, and on multiplying by per unit 1.03, 8.8 into 1.03 we get 9.1, 2.9 into 1.03 we get 3, 3.8 into 1.03 equal to 3.9. We can round up these figures, we get this is 9, this is 3 and this is 4. Okay, is it clear how we can measure the peak area under each type of the signal or intensity of the signal? Now next point is very important point, is splitting of the signal. The splitting of NMR signal is due to spin-spin coupling. When different type of the protons are in close proximity, they influence each other and couple with each other, so they get not a singlet signal, we get a multiplicate, and the NMR signal will be splitted in n+1 peaks, that is called multiplates, where n is the number of protons attached with the neighboring carbon atom. For example, you can see here the chloroethane, two types of the protons are there, blue protons 2 and CS3, these are red protons. Okay, I have mentioned these two types of the protons in different color, so it can clearly be visible for all of you to identify which type of the protons are there in this compound. On two type of the protons are there, these CS2 protons and these CS3 protons. Okay, now these CS2 protons are different from CS3 protons because the chemical environment of these two types of the protons are different, and the chemical environment depends upon the nature of the attached atom. Here, this CS2 group is attached with the Cl and CS3 group, and this CS3 group is attached with only this CS2 group. Then that's why this compound gives two signals. Okay. Now we are discussing here the splitting of the signal. So the signal we obtain due to CS2 group will be influenced by the CS3 protons, and the signals of CS3 protons will be influenced by the CS2 protons, and we get a multiplate or splitted signal. Okay. Now, for example, for this CS2 group, there are 3 protons on nearby carbon atom. So, by putting in this formula n equal to 3, 3 plus 1, we get quartets. Means these CS2 groups will give quartets. And for this CS3 group, on neighboring carbon atom, there are 2 hydrogen, there are 2 protons. On putting the value of protons, number of protons on neighboring carbon atom in this formula, n plus 1, n equal to 2, plus 1, 3 means these CS2 protons give triplet. Okay, is it clear? Now you can see in this slide the signal from uncoupled protons means protons is not coupling the protons present on nearby carbon, so we get this type of the splitting 1:1. Okay, signal from uncoupled proton. This is signal from uncoupled protons, but coupling is there. Then we get this type of the splitting pattern, and we get 1:2:1. This is a triplet, and the intensity ratio of these signals in a triplet is 1:2:1. Is it clear? Now, protons undergoing chemical actions does not show spin-spin coupling. Okay. For example, for methanol, we get 2 NMR signal at -40 degrees centigrade. Okay. For OH protons, we get quartet, and for CS3 we get doublet. Okay, it means these OH protons are coupling with nearby CS3 protons, and we get quartet for these protons. But when we get the signal of methanol at 31 degrees centigrade, then we get only singlet for OH protons and singlet for CS3 protons. It means these protons are not coupling with OH protons, and OH protons are not coupling with CS3 protons. So we get a separate singlet signals for each OH proton and CS3 protons. Is it clear? Because at low temperature, the chemical exchange is not possible. Chemical exchange is not possible at low temperature, so we are getting quartet for hydrogen and doublet for CS3 protons. Is it clear? Here, peak area ratio, we can calculate the peak area ratio using Pascal triangle. Here, this is singlet, this is doublet, and the ratio signal will be, your peak area ratio will be 1:1. This is triplet, this is quartet, pentate, and sextet, and the peak area ratio will be in this way, as shown in this slide. Here is splitting of signal in other cases. In the earlier slides, we have discussed the splitting of the signal in normal cases, where the one type of the protons are in close proximity with the same type of the protons. But in the case when one type of the protons are in close proximity with the different type of the protons having different chemical environment, in that case we get a splitted or complex signal, and the multiplets will be calculated by using this formula n+1, n-+1, n+1. If the protons responsible for spin-spin coupling are not in exactly similar environment, then the signal will be splitted according to this formula, where n, n-, and n-, are the number of protons in different environment. For example, you can see in this example here, CS protons, CS2 protons, CS protons. Okay. Now you can see here CH protons are attached with 2 Cl atoms and 1 CH2 group. And here CH2 group is attached with this CH, this group and this group. Okay, and this CH group is attached with this one and this one. It means all these 3 protons are different. This proton is different from this one and this one is different from this one. So we get 3 NMR signal. Okay. Now we see the splitting pattern of these signals. Let us see here. For A type of the protons, we get triplet because these protons are in close proximity with these protons. Okay, then number of signal or the multiplates or the number of splitting patterns can be calculated using by n plus 1 formula. Here n is the 2, n plus 1 3. So we get triplet for this proton. And for C protons we get triplet because the neighboring number of protons on the neighboring carbon is 2. So by putting the value of neighboring protons n equal to 2 in n plus 1, we get 3. So we get triplet. But for these protons, we get here this hydrogen is in different environment in comparison to this proton. So we have to use this formula to calculate the multiplicity of the signal. Here n plus 1 means number of protons on neighboring carbon atom 1 plus 1 2 into the number of on another neighboring carbon atom, number of protons on another carbon atom, then 1 plus 1 equal to 2. 2 into 2 4. It means we get quartet for these CS2 protons. Is it clear? Splitting of signal in other cases, if suppose these protons and these protons have the same chemical environment, will have same chemical environment, then the signal obtained in the NMR spectrum for these CS2 type of protons can be calculated using n plus 1 formula. But actually here these CS protons are different from these CS protons, so we have to use this type of the formula to calculate the multiplicity of the protons. Here this one is the next example. There are 3 CS2 protons, but all these CS2 protons are not equivalent because the chemical environment of all these CS2 protons are different. So we get 3 NMR signal. Proton A, B, and C are non-equivalent. The reason is clear: different environment, hence different delta value chemical shifts. Now we see here the multiplicity of each signal. The multiplicity of A type of the signal will be triplet because n plus 1 means the number of protons on neighboring carbon equal to 2 plus 1 equal to 3 triplet. And for C type of the protons or C type of the signal, we get triplet also because there are 2 protons on the neighboring carbon atom, and by using n plus 1 formula we get triplet. But for this type of the protons, these protons, CS2 protons or B type of the signal given by CS2 type of the protons, we can calculate the multiplicity using n plus 1, n prime plus 1 means number of the protons present on neighboring carbon atom on this side, number of protons present on the neighboring carbon atom on this side, and this is multiplication symbol. So 2 plus 1, 3 into 2 plus 1, 3, 9. Multiply it with 9 lines. Okay. So the NMR signal given by the B type of the protons will be a multiplate, and the lines in the multiplates will be 9 according to this formula. Now, let's see one more example. NMR signal in this compound will be these CH3 protons are of one type, this proton is of one type, and these two type of the proton, these two protons are of equivalent and same type because the chemical environment is same, and one signal for these type of the protons and one signal for this. Okay, so we can calculate the multiplicity of the signal given by this type of the protons. Okay. Now, thanks. In the next class, we discuss about the remaining aspects of the NMR spectroscopy, and this video lecture will be beneficial for you to understand the various aspects or different type of the applications of the NMR spectroscopy that is equally applicable for organic compounds as well as for inorganic compounds. Now we are going to stop here, and thank you all